Hey, hello everyone. We're going to start the session now, introducing you both to A-level law and applied law. I'll start off. I'm one of the law teachers. My name's Ezekiel.
My name is Amina. I'm the other law teacher. So between us, we are the law team, and we cover, like Ezekiel's already mentioned, A-level law and applied law. And we'll be able to tell you a bit more about them very soon.
Okay. All right. So just to kind of get you guys warmed up and to give you an insight on the kind of things that we do in law, I'm going to show you three separate scenarios. You need to decide whether these are actually true or false. So did these actual scenarios take place? Did they happen? If you believe they did, then you select true. If you think it didn't happen, then you select false. In order to do this, you're going to need to join the Slido. So if you can either scan the QR code, you could do this using your phones, or you can type in slido.com and put the hashtag with 948 and 254. So once you've joined, I will begin the quiz, and then you guys will be able to work your way through the different scenarios. So I'll give you a few more minutes. So scan the QR code to join, or type in slido.com and enter the hashtag. Okay, we'll just give you a couple more minutes to join, and then we'll start the quiz. But yes, if you can join, if you've just joined the chat, just scan the QR code to either join the quiz or type in slido.com and enter the hashtag. Okay, so I'm going to start the quiz. I'm going to go to the first scenario. So you decide whether it's true or false. And there is a leaderboard at the end. So you'll be able to see where you rank in that leaderboard. So the first one is members of a jury decided to contact the deceased by using a Ouija board. They were informed by the deceased that the accused was guilty of his murder. The defendant was convicted of the crime. So decide whether you believe that is true or false. Okay, let's reveal the answers in about 10 seconds.
Let me see how many have responded.
Yeah. Okay. So 29% of you said it's true, whereas 71% of you said it's false. So let's find out the actual answer. It's in fact true. So that 29%, well done. It was a true case, and it was in the case of Crown versus Young, where the jury members actually went and took part in a Ouija board in order to decide whether the defendant was guilty of the crime. So they had contacted the deceased, and the deceased revealed to them that it was the defendant who had murdered them. So they came back and returned that verdict.
We'll just go over what a Ouija board is in case some people
we might as well actually. Yeah.
Just in case some of you are wondering, I'm sure most of you probably do know, a Ouija board is some kind of is it a tool that sometimes people use, sometimes as a joke or for fun, or because they really believe that they can contact the dead through this. So it's about calling spirits and getting them to reveal something. So the 12 jury members that had to make a decision in this case about whether the defendant had killed the victim or not, and they were just, they were so confused about what happened in the case. So they thought, all right, let's see if we can actually contact the dead victim. And they believed that they did. And the deceased, like Ezekiel said, told them, yep, it was him. He's the one who killed me. And, they were actually caught. Obviously, what they were doing was illegal. It was wrong. Jury members are not meant to use Ouija boards to contact the deceased. They're meant to make decisions based on the evidence that is presented to them in the courtroom. So it's a very interesting case. And, it shows you about the kind of things jury members do get up to instead of just making a decision based on what they've seen in the courtroom. Okay, well done again to the 29%.
Well done. Next one. Actually, there you go. There's the leaderboard at the moment, so you can see where you stand if you are in the top 5. So yeah, have a look quickly. If you're the top 5, well done. If not, then again, try get these next 2 correct. Okay, the second scenario is Mrs. Donahue bought a Happy Meal at McDonald's. On taking a sip of her drink, she discovered the remains of a decomposed spider in her drink. She successfully won her claim of negligence against the McDonald's branch where she bought the meal from. To decide whether you believe it's true or false. Okay, so just give you about 10 more seconds to submit your answer, and then we'll reveal whether it's true or false. Okay, all right, let's reveal the correct response. So 72% of you decided that it was true, and 28% of you said it was false. So there's a complete turnaround compared to last time. And the fact is that it was actually false this time. So well done to the 28% of you who got that correct. To be fair, yes, the claimant's name was Mrs. Donahue. However, she didn't buy a Happy Meal. She actually bought a bottle of ginger beer, and she found the remains of a decomposed snail in that bottle of ginger beer. So that is the key differences with the actual case of Donahue versus Stevenson. But well done to the 28% of you that selected the right response. Let's see where the leaderboard stands. Okay, so have a look, see where you are at this moment in time. It has been a complete shift to who's in first place, second place, and third and fourth and fifth.
I feel like 2 of those, Mehara and Soul, I think those 2 names appeared before as well. I'm sorry if any of the others did, and I don't remember, but I feel like those 2 names were in the top 5 previously as well. So well done.
Well done. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the third and final scenario. So now it's your opportunity to try and get back some points that perhaps you lost in the first two. Okay, last one. So the defendant had put poison in his mother's drink, intending to kill her. She died shortly after. However, medical evidence revealed that her death was caused by a heart attack and not from the poison. The defendant was found not guilty for murder. If you can submit your answers.
So do you think the facts of this case are true or false?
Okay, perfect. So you've all managed to submit your answers in. Let's have a look and see what most of you selected. So 61% said it's true, whereas 39% said it's false. So again, there's a bit more, it was closer this time round. So let's actually reveal the answer. It was in fact true. So well done to 61% of you who actually got the answer correct.
So it's the first time the majority got the right answer. It is based on the case of Crown versus White. The facts are true. He did try and poison his mother so that he could get his hands on his inheritance money sooner rather than later. She did die that night, but it wasn't, the poison didn't actually have enough time to have effect in her body. Before that, she died of a heart attack. So prior to the poison actually having effect, she died of a heart attack. So the defendant hadn't actually caused her death. So because he hadn't caused her death, he could not be guilty of her murder. So he was found not guilty for murder, but obviously he still committed a crime. So he was found guilty of attempted murder. But the question Ezekiel asked was the defendant was found not guilty for murder, and that is actually true. So well done. Let's see the leaderboard.
Okay.
Similar names coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can have a look, see if you're in first, second, third, or fourth, or fifth place. Well, congratulations. I believe it's Thea.
Yeah, last time, and the last one as well, Thea came first, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. So congratulations. Well done as well to Ore as well, who came second, and Nella and Jasmine and Ahid. And well done to all of you. And well done to all of you in participating in this. Yeah. Okay, so we've got another activity which you guys can do.
The final one.
The final activity. And it's all about looking at this whole idea of self-defense. We're going to present to you a scenario, and you need to decide, would you actually consider this as self-defense? So what you're going to need to do, just if you have just joined, scan the QR code, which is on the screen, or join at slido.com in order to include your answers in when I reveal your answers and your responses. For your answers to be included, please scan the QR code. But what I want you to consider is whether you would see this as self-defense. Sorry. Oh. Okay. Trying to think if it's. Give me 1 second whilst I sort that out. If you could just let us know quickly in the chat, can you see the scenario on your end?
Just type yes or no in the
Nope.
chat.
Okay, you can't see it. All right, so what we'll do, we will actually explain the scenario to you. And then when we explain the scenario, you guys can enter your responses.
In the chat or in that?
Yeah, so if you're given you should have been given a slot which you can type up your response. So if you could just type up your response, if you're not able to type it up in the box given to you, then you can put your response in the chat and we can work our way through both. but we'll talk you through the scenario, and you will give us your answer as to whether you think this is self-defense.
Shall I go through it?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's based on the case of, oh, it's not a true or false. So it is definitely based on a true case. Hussein brothers. So there's two brothers who live together with their families. And it was Ramadan, and the brothers were in the mosque for their prayers. And during that time, a couple of burglars came in and they tied up some family members, and they just wanted to, burgle some of the items. And they were in the process of doing that. One of the teenage family members managed to escape and got help. When the Hussein brothers came back, at that point, the burglars were running away from the property. So I want you to keep in mind that the family members were no longer in danger. The Hussein brothers were not in danger. So the burglars were running away. As they left the property, they managed to, and they're running away, the brothers managed to catch hold of one of them. So one of the burglars was caught, and the brothers beat him up, and to the point that they used a cricket bat, hit him on the head. And if you can try and imagine the amount of force that was used, to the point that the cricket bat actually broke into 3 pieces, and the burglar ended up in a coma. So he's now in hospital. He's in a coma. He's suffering from brain injury. And the Hussein brothers feel that what they did was self-defense. And some people might say, well, actually, it wasn't self-defense because the burglars were going away. You were no longer in danger. Whereas some people might feel, if you're in my house, you're threatening my family members, you're taking away my things and running away, then I have a right to, even if it means to chase after and attack this person, it's still considered to be self-defense. So you've all probably got a rough idea of whether it's self-defense or not. So based on the facts that I've given you, we'd like you to decide. Would you defend these brothers and say, yep, it was self-defense, or do you feel, nope, it was not actually self-defense? So we've got a couple of answers. Not self-defense, no, it was self-defense.
And you can put a bit of an explanation as well. So if you think it's self-defense, why? If you don't think it's self-defense, explain why.
Okay,
so what we can see.
Okay, that's good. We like the answers where you've got an explanation instead of just no.
Okay, that's a fair point.
Oh, some very good explanations coming up.
Definitely.
Thank you. Well done.
Yeah, we'll choose maybe a few and just read through some, and then
the fact that they've mentioned not for protection, for revenge, very good points.
Yeah.
No longer in danger. So it seems like a lot of people are emphasizing on the fact that they were no longer in danger. They didn't need that protection or defense.
Justice would have been served through the law. Yeah. Okay. So it's almost like you're saying that they took matters into their own hands at this point in time. Okay. Someone has said yes, as they were threatened. So it's still a form of self-defense.
Yeah, I mean, some people might think that, you're trespassing, you're in my property, you've come in uninvited, I have a right to treat you as I want. Yeah, that's fair enough. We'd like to hear both sides.
Yeah.
Unnecessary. Okay.
It's more like revenge rather than self-defense. Yeah. Okay. For anyone who might have looked. Yeah. Okay, GBH, since they were already out of harm. Okay, so they acted on their feelings and tried to avenge for the family members. Okay. Right, so their self-defense clearly went too far and was unwanted, as no one was in serious danger, and the police should have been the ones to handle this situation, as they didn't have the power to take the matter to their own hand. However, some may applaud their bravery.
Very good answer.
Yeah, given two sides as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it is important in law to be able to look at things from both sides, because there's always two sides to a story.
Definitely.
And, you know, if you decide to practice law, you might really believe in this person, but you might end up on the prosecution side, in which case you're not going to be defending them. You're going to be looking for points on which to prosecute. So you have to be able to see things from both sides. So well done.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you guys have come up with really good answers. Definitely, you stated why you believe it's not self-defense or why you think it is self-defense, and you've given that explanation. You just haven't just stated an answer where you're just like no or yes. You know, you provided that explanation. You've given us a bit more of an insight how you came to that conclusion. So yeah, really good responses. Okay. All right, so thank you for your answers and thank you for taking part as well in that activity. Now we're just going to go into a bit more about the actual program itself. So covering aspects like the exam board, the topics we'll cover, and elements of the assessment. So we'll cover a bit of that, both of us, and then also we'll give you an opportunity at the end to be able to ask some questions about the course program.
Okay, so if we start with A-level law, we are following OCR, used to be AQA. But for the last couple of years, we started following OCR because we think it would be more beneficial to our students. And for applied law, we are going with PSN. And just to first of all clarify the difference between the two. So A-level law has a slightly higher requirement, entry requirement, and it is 100% exam based. So over the 2 years, we will prepare you for 3 exams. Applied law used to be, so if you have siblings or family friends who have done applied law, or you know what they might just call vocational law. In the past, it used to be 100% exam based. 100% coursework. Now it's a mixture, just like any other vocational course. It is a mixture of some coursework, but also some external assessments, which we will help you prepare for. So you know that might give you some understanding onto which one would be more suitable for you. In terms of the teaching hours, it's the same, 4 hours and 40 minutes per subject. So if you are doing 3 A-levels in total, or 3 subjects, it will be 4 hours and 40 minutes times 3. And you have 4 lessons for each subject. So you would have 4 lessons of law, whether it's A-level law or applied law. It doesn't make a difference. The assessment, I think I've already mentioned. Yep, A-level is 100% exams. We prepare you for 3 papers, and you do your exams at the end of the second year. At the end of the first year, we do a set of mock exams to give us and you an idea of your progress, whether you would be suitable to continue on to the second year, or maybe we should look at other options. And you know, it also helps us work out things like predicted grades for university. Entry requirements for A-level, the average point score of 5.7, including a 5 in English and 5 in maths. And you know, hopefully you can appreciate that in law there is a lot of reading and writing involved, so we prefer a minimum of 5 in English. Otherwise, you know, it's going to be a struggle, and obviously we don't want you to be struggling. In applied law, average point score of 5, including again 5 in English and this time 4 in maths. So you can see the requirement is slightly lower. So it just means, you know, the subject is more accessible, because whether, you know, if you want to do law, you have an interest in the subject, whether you do A-level or applied law, the option is there. If you don't have enough of a point score for A-level law, then you can consider applied law, or you might just think based on the assessments, you think, you know, you can decide which one you feel you're most suited to. Key topics: English legal system. Obviously, we want you to know how the legal system is created in this country, how it works, because every country has its own legal system, and you know it's going to be different. So you need to learn how the legal system works in this country. Criminal law, that seems to be the most popular, and that consists of everything from ABH, GBH, which I'm sure you've all heard of, grievous bodily harm, to murder, manslaughter. Again, you know, if you watch a lot of American dramas, you'd come across 1st-degree murder, 2nd-degree murder. In this country, we don't have that. We have murder, and then we have various different manslaughters. Criminal law, we also look at property offenses like theft, robbery, burglary. You know, you've heard of all 3 of these, but you probably wouldn't be able to explain the difference between theft and robbery, for example. So we go on to these concepts. We also look at defenses like intoxication, insanity, self-defense, like we've just discussed in the Hussein brothers case. Tort law, which Ezekiel it specializes in. So, if you were to go into a supermarket and there's some milk spill on the floor and you slip and you hurt yourself, what would you want to do? Lawmaking, how laws are made, who's involved, and also we do contract law. Again, interesting. You probably don't realize. Even if you go to a shop and you buy a bottle of drink, you've actually formed a contract. When you've got your phone contract. So it doesn't have to. It's not, contract law isn't just about multi-million-dollar contracts between big companies or big businesses. Contracts you enter into every day without realizing. So it's just to give you a foundation on various different areas of law, so that those of you who do decide to continue with law at university and later on, you've already got a very basic and good foundation for you to continue from. Okay. Have I missed anything?
No, you pretty much covered everything, I guess. And I guess anything that they want to know, we'll leave it to them in the Q&A.
Are we going to have those current students now?
Yep. So before we move on, because what we're going to do, we're going to get 2 current students to just share their experience with you guys, just to give you an insight from the student's perspective. I'll just go over a few things that might help you in preparing for law. Some of you might want to perhaps look at purchasing textbooks, or just have a bit of a read around the law in the UK. So on the screen in front of you, you can see that I've put a picture of our core textbook, which is for the A-level program, which is OCR core textbook year 1 law. And also I've put the revision guide as well, which is my revision notes. So if you are interested and you want to do any extra reading or prior reading before we start, feel free. A quick way I'll say is either screenshot the screen in front of you. So at least that way you've just got it down. And if you want to purchase the book, or if you want to visit any of these websites like Law Gazette or Law Review, then you have the opportunity to do so. The applied law book is not on here as well, but there is also a booklet for the applied law, which you can, which will usually tell you when you start the course, when you can buy it, and what to buy. But if you just want to look at the websites for now, just to read up on the law, you can. That would be very helpful. So right now we're going to invite 2 current students, just to give you an insight and to give you their perspective and what it's like studying A-level law. So one of them studies A-level law, the other studies applied law. So they'll both give you an idea of as to their experience studying that this year. So first I will call up Paula. Paula, if you can switch your mic on and just give the students an overview of how it's been like for you studying law.
Hello, my name is Paula, like Sir said. Law, like A-level law itself, it's fun. At first you're gonna be very confused, and that's fine. You're gonna get like at least, for me it was like at least 3-2 months to proper get used to it. When it comes to like legal law, for me it was the most difficult because of all the terms and all, like, because at first we started talking about courts and I was very confused. But at some point, if you actually like take some time apart and revise it by yourself and make further research and start asking questions, by the way, this is a tip, ask questions always, otherwise you will fall behind. Don't be shy. Legal law for me was easier at first, because honestly, for criminal law, you kind of like learn about cases and learn the differences between the offenses, what makes the offense the actual offense, the sentencing, and for me it was kind of easier, especially because like I like cases the most. But yeah, legal law for me was the most difficult. But at some point, after you properly learn it and like get on with it, you're gonna catch up. In other words, don't worry if you don't understand it at first, you're gonna catch up. What else was there? Actually, another tip. Because there are gonna be a lot of cases in law, and for you to catch up with that, Miss was actually the one that gave us the whole like idea of it. She advised us to do a table for cases. So you would know what case is what, and for what offense is what case. And I would say that for legal law is actually very clever too, because for legal law there are cases and you're gonna forget them at least like very easily, my opinion. And so make the table, it's easier. Is there anything else I should say, sir?
I think you've pretty much covered what, yeah, I guess what I would suggest on your experience.
Yeah.
Any particular laws that or any topic areas that you enjoy the most?
Oh, for me, from legal law, it was about the trespassing, the last topic we saw. I
Okay.
loved that topic on legal law.
Yeah.
For criminal law, for me, it was, I don't know if it was because it was the first time we were seeing it, but for me, I will always remember assault and I forgot the name. Assault and
Battery.
Actually.
battery, thank you. Assault and battery, I will always remember the differences between them. And because like nowadays we use the word assault so usually, like, oh, he touched me is assault. And then you learn it in law, and whenever you see it again, and whenever someone uses it incorrectly, you're gonna be like, this was not assault, this was battery, this was not battery, this was assault. It's very eye-opening. And you get annoyed at people more often when they use the wrong terms, in other words.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Paula. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. And I'm glad you included, strengths and weaknesses. We're not sitting here just saying, oh, law is amazing and it's so easy and everyone should do it. There's going to be topics that you enjoy and there's going to be topics that you find difficult. And that's just the way it is. Whatever program you do, whatever degree you do, whatever job you do, there's always going to be some aspects that you will enjoy more than others. But it's just about giving you an overall idea so that you have the basic knowledge and different concepts of law. Thank you, Paula. Thank you so much for joining us. Do stay for the rest of the session. Shall we now go to Taisha? Taisha, are you there?
Yeah, hi everyone. So yeah, my name's Taisha, and I feel like I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first spoke about choosing law for A levels, I wasn't 100% sure that I actually wanted to do it, only because I'd never done anything that included like the law aspect before. But after my first lesson, something clicked, and I was like, whoa, I love this subject. So I'm actually thinking of doing it for uni as well. Overall, my law experience was positive, and I think my favorite thing was like practical work. So recently we made a podcast on contract law, which is also my favorite subject. And I don't know, I just found it really engaging, and everybody was speaking about how I think I'm quite good at talking, as Ezekiel and Amina know. But I just found it really fun, and I felt a lot closer to my peers because I don't speak to everybody in the classroom. But yeah, I just felt like it really brought us all closer together. What I found challenging was that it is a lot of content that you have to take in for law, as well as it is for other subjects, but I don't think I was prepared to take in as much. However, I think you just need to take every topic as it comes. And also, like what Paula said, don't be afraid to ask questions, otherwise you will fall behind. I think with law, if you don't keep up with everything that you're learning, it is very, very easy to forget things and to kind of not know what you're doing. But I found that the staff at Newvic, especially Ezekiel and Amina, they're very, very helpful and they're very friendly, and you just shouldn't hesitate to speak to them when you need help. But yeah, don't worry, you'll be fine. I think criminal law was one of the most difficult things for me because of how many cases you had to remember and the different details that you have to remember as well. But just revise every day and go over them until you remember them, and you'll be fine. But yeah, I don't know if I've missed anything out. sir or miss.
No, you've done brilliant.
Yeah, you've done well. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, it's good. It's really nice to hear actually students' perspectives as well. Like, especially when you're in class with so many people, and then to hear some individuals talking about their own experiences, it's actually really nice for us as well. And obviously for these students, rather than just hearing from us, to be able to hear from people who are experiencing these subjects right now, I'm sure they found it very helpful. So thank you very much, girls, for joining us. And we've just got the Q&A left. So, you can help us, Paula and Taisha, if there's any questions that you are, it's better for you to respond to rather than us. So students, please feel free to ask us any questions about the subject, anything in particular, totally up to you, anything that will help you decide whether this is the right subject for you or not. So we are here, Ezekiel, myself, Taisha, and Paula. We are ready for your questions.
Yeah, so we've got about 7 more minutes on the clock. So just either switch on your mics. You can ask us directly by switching on your mics, or you can just put your message in the chat, and we'll try our best to get through as much questions as possible. So over to you guys.
Brilliant question. Thank you so much. Who's that from? Mana. That is really like an old myth. And there's been so many studies, and universities have all said they have absolutely no problems with students doing A-level or applied law if they then want to go into university. So that's like a really old thing that a lot of people still believe in. And we've actually had students going on to Cambridge, Oxford University to do law, having done law at college. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Don't let that stop you from doing the subjects that you want to do.
Okay, next one. Can you do biomedical and law?
If you want to do biomedical, I'm not sure if there are other subjects you need to do with it, like other sciences or not. Law is a very flexible subject, goes with humanities to business to social science, whatever you want to take it with. But if biomedical science is something you're interested in, I would say take it from a different angle. Check out what universities require for somebody who wants to do biomedical science, and then decide what else would go with it.
Okay, how many students are in a class? So roughly, it depends. I'll say usually between on average, you'll probably have around 24, 25 in a class. But it can be between any number between 20 and roughly about 27. But on average, it's usually around 24.
And in the second year, it's usually slightly less.
Yeah. Will studying A-level law help with a law degree?
I think so. Personally, I would say, you're going to go into university for 3 years. You're investing about £27,000 onto the next 3 years of your life. You should definitely do law at college to see if it is the right subject for you. Because imagine you do law and then you think, actually, I'm so glad I did it because it's not the right subject for me, and I'm going to do something else at university, rather than to go straight into uni without any knowledge, without any understanding of what law is like. So in my personal opinion, I would recommend it, especially if you want to do law at university.
Perfect. And we've got another question. Will it be better if I start studying law now, like in the holidays? Yeah, I would say just read up on it. So read up on UK legislation, just get familiar with the terms that are used.
The OCR website and just have a look at the specification.
Yeah. So go on the OCR website, look at the specification of law, which is under the code is H418. H418, and you'll see A-level law, and you can look at the spec, what you'll be studying. That will give you an insight. So I'll say maybe just reading up, or make sure that if you are doing any extra reading other than that, make sure that it's applicable to the UK, because sometimes you could just type in law and it'll bring you law from Australia and US, but you want it to be specific to the UK if you're going to do any research around that. If you do applied law, can you still study law in university?
Yes,
you can. You can still go ahead. You can still get into a Russell Group University. It's all possible to still go ahead. Okay, how many questions do you have to answer within each paper for the law exam?
Well, they're actually essay type questions. So it's not, I mean, you could be one question, but if that question is worth 20 marks, you're expected to write an essay which will have a lot of concepts, cases within the answer. So rather than focusing on the number of questions, it's about the contents of the answer.
Yeah, definitely. And last question I can see is, do we go on any trips?
Well, in the last year we haven't because of COVID, but yes, usually every year we take our students to Snaresbrook Crown Court, which is the largest Crown Court in all of England. And, we just go in, we have very good relationship with them. We've been going for over like 20 years. So the college does have a very good relationship with the court, and usually we go in and we'll have a little introduction with one of their judges who will talk to our students and answer questions and just talk about what it's like to be a judge, how to practice law. And then we spend the rest of the day just sitting in courtrooms watching real cases. So, maybe 40 minutes of this case, and then we come out, go into another courtroom and watch an hour of another case. And it's really good to have that real life experience.
Yeah. And in addition to what Mina just said, we have organized trips to work at law firms.
Oh, yes.
So usually in the second year when the groups are a little bit more smaller, just to give you a bit more insight as to whether you want to study this, then if the opportunity does come around, we will take you to a law firm so you can actually experience what it's like from the actual professionals themselves. Do we do mock trials?
I guess in class we do sometimes. We might throw a case and be like, all right, half the class you're prepared to defend, the other half prepared to prosecute, and then you work in your groups, come up with your points, and then we'll try and do like a mock trial where we've got both sides coming up with the points, and we pass a judgment at the end to say what the decision would be based on how the two sides have performed.
Yeah. And in addition to that as well, Paula, who just spoke earlier, she would have experienced this. We done an online mock trial where we did actually assign a judge, a jury, and I don't know if she could say whether she enjoyed it or not.
I was about to say, so like we done that last year in this case. I can't believe I'm a second year down. How do you call it? We done that last time. So Sir divided us into prosecution, defense, and jury, and he was the judge. And so he gave us a case that was similar to an actual real case. And then we had to ask questions, and as a group, we had to come out like with a good, on my case, that was the prosecution. We had to come out with like a good prosecution thing. By the way, our group won. And in other words, like it felt very real, because at that point you start to put yourself in the shoes of the prosecutor, and then you start to be like, you know what, but this ain't a joke, this is real life. Bang. It's very fun. You get to like talk with people and get to interact more and practice more skills. By the way, so on a side note, I wanted to mention something that you mentioned on the last session last year, the taster session that I watched after. If you don't want to do law in university, or like if you started law and don't want to take it to university, that's fine, because law, it's something that is like just for you to get wisdom around stuff. You can use the law degree for so much stuff. It's mainly just like, on my case, I wanted at first to become a barista. However, I changed my mind, and I want to like to do something with psychology. But I still want to do law because you learn so much about your rights, but as well as your responsibility as a citizen. And it helps you with so much stuff. And it's actually like interesting whenever someone is talking about something and you're like, yeah, but actually that's not how the law works.
Yeah, just to add to what Paula's saying, very good point. Law isn't just for people who want to do law at university, or for people who want to become solicitors or barristers. Like she said, it's the skills and the knowledge that you gain. So even if actually I want to become a psychologist, or I want to open my own business, or like you're thinking, I'm not really actually thinking of practicing law or studying law at university, is still a very good, valuable subject that is in demand, that is well respected because of all the skills and knowledge that you gain. So yes, just to make sure, just to clarify, it's not just for people who want to do law later on in life. So thank you very much for that, Paula. Very relevant point there.
Yes, thank you.
What's the next question?
I'm assuming the last question is whether we visit the court. Maybe you might have missed our answer, but yes, we do visit courts. Go to Snaresbrook Court, and the odd time we might go to the Central Criminal Court in London, the Old Bailey.
Old Bailey.
But most times we do go to Snaresbrook, and then do get to speak with the judge and see actual cases taking place. But I believe we're out of time, and thank you guys for taking part in this induction. I hope we've answered all your questions as well. Do have a look at the websites that I shared with you, the Law Gazette and the Law Review, just to get insight about studying law, as well as the specification on the exam board's website. In terms of, I've just seen a question pop up. It's in the first year, or it could be in the second year, whichever one. Hopefully, we've seen the end of COVID.
Yeah.
So your experience, you will get a court visit in the first year. But again, hopefully that there's no more
because all the trials have been on Zoom.
Yeah,
the last year, the trials have been on Zoom, so nobody's been going into the courtroom because of COVID restrictions. So obviously we couldn't take our students. So our visits will be based on whether they.
Nina and Ezekiel sat here with me and a boss. Misha, you know what boss done? We had English literature before, innit?
Yeah, okay. I think someone forgot their mic on. But so yeah, thank you for participating. We're aware that it's the end of the session. Hopefully we've managed to answer any questions you have. And
hopefully we'll see you in September.
Hopefully. Take care and have a good summer.
Bye-bye.